before the world gets its hooks into your attention, take a moment to pull your soul back. Every single morning, you are presented with a secret doorway. This doorway doesn't lead to the noise of the world, the demands of your boss, or the chaos of your social media feed. It leads directly back to yourself. The Buddha once shared a profound truth. What you feel, you attract. What you imagine, you create. Yet, look at how the average person operates today. The alarm goes off, and they wake up only to immediately fall back asleep, not in their bed, but in their lives. Before their feet even touch the floor, their hand reaches for the phone. They start scrolling endlessly through other people's highlight reels. They start thinking thoughts that aren't even theirs. They start chasing a stressful, manufactured reality that leaves them completely exhausted before they've even had a cup of coffee. They surrender their power within the first 5 seconds of the day. But what if your morning became your ultimate source of power? What if the very first thing you said to yourself could dictate the trajectory of your entire day, your mood, your absolute focus, your peace, and ultimately, your life? In this video, we are going to decode 5 deeply powerful truths that you need to tell yourself every single morning. These aren't just positive affirmations. They are tactical mental frameworks rooted in ancient Buddhist wisdom, designed for deep inner transformation. If you build these into your morning ritual, you will forge an elite, unbreakable mindset. And I want you to pay close attention to the 5th truth. It is the one framework that might just free you from the heavy baggage you've been carrying around for years. Take a deep breath, clear your distractions. It is time to take your morning back. Lesson number 1. I am not my thoughts. I am the silence beneath them. Every morning the world rushes into your bedroom before the sun even fully rises. The mental noise starts before your eyes even open. You wake up to the worries from yesterday, the heavy expectations for today, and the paralyzing fears of tomorrow. The brutal reality is that most people suffer deeply before they've even left their bed. They aren't suffering from physical pain. They are suffering from the relentless noise inside their own minds. There is a quiet, chaotic storm brewing in our heads, and it silently robs us of our peace. But the first absolute truth you must anchor yourself to each morning is this: I am not my thoughts. I am the silence beneath them. It sounds incredibly simple, but implementing this holds the power to shift your entire existence. In Buddhist teachings, the untrained mind is often described as a monkey mind that constantly jumps from branch to branch, screaming, reacting, and never sitting still. But if you look beyond the chaos of that monkey, what do you see? You see the sky, vast, silent, and completely undisturbed by whatever is happening below it. That sky is your true self. Your mind thinks. It judges, it predicts, it panics, and it reacts. But you are the one who observes the mind. When you begin your day by identifying with every random thought that pops into your head, you tie your soul to an emotional roller coaster. If your morning thoughts are anxious, you literally become an anxious person. If your thoughts are self-critical, you carry a heavy cloak of shame into every meeting and every conversation you have that day. But none of that is actually you. You are the space that holds those thoughts, not the thoughts themselves. This is exactly why so many people are burnt out before breakfast. They never pause to notice the separation. They wake up already trapped inside the narrative. Their thoughts are spinning. I didn't sleep enough. I'm already behind on my goals. Today is going to be a brutal grind. Without even knowing it, they allow their mind to speak first, and their spirit is forced to take a back seat. A truly powerful, mindful morning is built by reversing that dynamic. You must let your spirit speak first. Tell yourself, I am not these stressful thoughts. I am the stillness watching them pass. This single truth changes the game, because once you create that mental space, even just a 1-second pause of awareness, you are no longer trapped inside the storm. You are sitting safely beside it. You become like a monk sitting beneath the Bodhi tree, feeling the wind blow but remaining completely unmoved by it. When you observe instead of reacting, you give yourself the ultimate gift, the gift of choice. This is the core of what meditation teaches us. The goal is never to suppress the mind or forcefully stop your thoughts. That's impossible. The goal is to witness them. Human suffering begins the exact second we blindly believe our thoughts and let them dictate our inner state. Liberation begins the moment we gently look at those thoughts and remember, I am the seer, not the scene being shown. You are not the frantic voice in your head. You are the deep awareness that hears it. And the more you rest in that silent awareness, the more power you reclaim from the world. So tomorrow morning, before the emails, the news, and the demands of the world have a chance to breach your mind, pause. Sit at the edge of your bed. Keep your eyes closed. Take one deep, intentional breath in and speak this quietly to your own heart. I am not my thoughts. I am the silence beneath them. That one truth is enough to begin rewriting the entire script of your life, because the way you begin your day is the way you live your life. Can you sit with your mind without becoming consumed by it? That is the real test of an inner peace. Don't rush to master it on day one. Just carry this truth with you, like a lantern in the early hours. Let it guide your morning. Let it soften your sharp reactions. Let it bring you back home to the quiet, powerful place where you actually belong. Because true peace doesn't begin when the world finally calms down. Peace begins the exact moment you remember who you truly are. Lesson number 2. Everything I need already exists within me. In the early hours of the morning, when the light is still soft and the world is just beginning to stir, there is a very subtle, highly toxic illusion that creeps into your mind. It's a quiet lie that whispers, you are not enough. It arrives before your feet even touch the ground. It is the thought that tells you that you are already behind schedule. It tells you that you must become more, achieve more, and prove more to people who don't even care about you. And in that exact moment, you begin to chase. But before you take the very first step of your day, you must aggressively anchor yourself to this truth. Everything I need already exists within me. Buddhism teaches that human suffering begins the exact moment we believe that something outside of us will complete us. The moment we forget our inherent wholeness, we start grasping. We grasp at financial success. We grasp at societal approval. We grasp at external validation. It becomes an exhausting, never-ending loop. We run endlessly toward things, thinking that the next promotion, the next car, or the next relationship will finally fill the inner emptiness, only to find that the faster we run, the more distant our peace becomes, because true peace cannot be found in external objects. It is already there, waiting for you, like still water resting beneath restless waves. In the morning, this illusion of lack is at its absolute strongest. You see it when you open your phone and scroll through the highlight reels of other people's lives. You feel it in the mental checklist of all the goals you haven't accomplished yet. It is the self-doubt, the comparison, the desperate rush to be more. But when you pause, take a breath, and speak to yourself, everything I need is already here. You shatter the spell. You return to a state of complete sufficiency. And I am not talking about the fragile arrogance of the ego. I am talking about the deep, unshakable knowing of the soul. The absolute knowing that the wisdom, the strength, the resilience, and the clarity you are desperately searching for already live inside of you. They are just waiting to be remembered. Imagine a tiny seed. From the outside, it looks small, hard, and entirely insignificant. But locked within that tiny shell lies the genetic blueprint and the raw potential of an entire massive forest. You are that seed. Yet most people forget this. They spend their entire lives seeking light from the outside without ever realizing that the sun also rises within them. The more you rely on the external world to tell you who you are, the more of your power you give away. When you let go of the desperate need for external validation, you don't become lazy. You don't lose your ambition. You become deeply rooted. And when you are rooted in your own sufficiency, you walk through the hyper-competitive world not as a beggar, but as an absolute force of nature. You no longer chase respect. You embody it. You no longer seek worth. You express it. So each morning, before the noise begins, return to this truth. Place your hand over your heart. Close your eyes. Breathe in deeply and remind yourself, everything I need already exists within me. Let those words sink into your bones like warm light. The world will always demand more from you, but true peace only asks that you remember who you already are. Lesson number 3. Nothing outside me has the power to disturb my peace. There is a quiet, terrifying strength that lives inside of you. It is a strength that is not born from physical force, from shouting, or from intimidation. It is born entirely from stillness. Every morning as the world begins to wake up, chaotic energies begin to rise. The noise, the demands, the unrealistic expectations, the passive-aggressive emails, the traffic. People will come to you carrying their own unresolved anger. They will project their deep insecurities onto you. They will move through life like a destructive storm. And if you lack self-awareness, you will act like a sponge. You will absorb every single drop of their toxic energy. But here is the truth that will completely bulletproof your mindset for the rest of the day. Nothing outside me has the power to disturb my peace. You were never meant to be a sponge, soaking up the dark moods of a chaotic world. You were meant to be a mirror. You reflect reality, but you do not attach yourself to it. In Buddhism, we learn a very hard lesson. Suffering rarely comes from what actually happens to us. Suffering comes from how we choose to carry what happens to us. The exact moment you internalize another person's chaos, the moment you let a rude comment from a coworker or a bad driver on the highway ruin your morning, you have lost your center. You have literally taken the remote control of your emotional state and handed it over to a complete stranger. You have traded your inner stillness for a cheap moment of emotional reaction. But true, elite-level peace is built by aggressively reclaiming that power. Living with deep calm in a highly chaotic world is not a sign of weakness. It is the ultimate display of psychological mastery. The massive mistake that most people make is believing that spiritual detachment means emotional coldness. It does not. True detachment is not closing your heart. It is opening your awareness. It is the ability to lead without losing yourself. It is the ability to help without holding on. It is the ability to listen to someone's panic without absorbing their anxiety. Imagine a deep, incredibly vast lake. People can stand on the shore and throw heavy stones into the water. The wind can howl and whip the surface into a frenzy. But if you dive just a few feet down, the depths of that lake remain entirely undisturbed, completely unaffected by the drama on the surface. This is your daily practice. Let the world touch the surface of your life, but absolutely refuse to let it shake your foundation. You are not responsible for the weather inside other people's minds. Their anger is not your anger. Their fear is not your fear. Their projections and their insults do not define your reality. What defines you is how quickly you return to your own baseline after being pulled. Can you breathe instead of instantly reacting? Can you witness the chaos instead of absorbing it? Can you remain completely grounded even when the world around you is sharp and hostile? These are not small questions. These are the daily tests of an inner peace. Each morning, you get to make a definitive choice. Will you carry the heavy, chaotic weight of the world on your shoulders today? Or will you walk through the fire with rooted, unshakable calm? The first option creates tension and burnout. The second option creates absolute freedom. Say it to yourself gently, but with ironclad conviction. Nothing outside me has the power to disturb my peace. No one can enter the quiet sanctuary of your mind unless you unlock the door for them. No, one can steal your calm unless you forget that it belongs to you. Make your unshakable peace your greatest act of rebellion. Lesson number 4. Today, I choose presence over pressure. Most people wake up already sprinting. They aren't sprinting with their feet, they are sprinting with their minds. The pressure begins before their eyes even fully open. The mental inbox is flooded. The tasks, the unread messages, the endless responsibilities, they are all waiting like an angry army outside the bedroom door. It is so incredibly easy to forget that your mornings are sacred. They are not meant to be instantly consumed by manufactured urgency. They are meant to anchor you in absolute clarity. This is the non-negotiable truth you must carry into the start of every single day. Today, I choose presence over pressure. When you rush your morning, you rush your life. You start the day not as a mindful, intentional human being, but as a reactionary machine. You are hurrying, checking, chasing, and before you have even taken your second breath, the day is already in complete control of you. You are playing defense. Buddhism reminds us over and over again to return to your breath, return to this exact moment, because this exact moment is the only place where your life actually exists. The Buddha once dropped a devastating piece of wisdom. He said, "The trouble is, you think you have time." Read that again. We live our entire lives as if life is waiting for us somewhere down the road. We tell ourselves we will finally relax after the inbox is cleared. We will finally be happy after the massive project is finished. We will finally live when we hit that financial milestone. But life does not begin when the to-do list is done. The to-do list will never be done. Life is happening right now. It is happening in this inhale, in this exhale, in the quiet sip of your morning coffee, in the ray of sunlight hitting your desk. And when we forget that, we lose the exact thing we are grinding so hard to find: peace. Pressure is very often just an illusion disguised as urgency. Society convinces us that rushing is essential, that multitasking is a superpower, that feeling constantly overwhelmed means we are grinding and achieving something important. But pressure only blinds you. It disconnects you from the quiet miracles happening all around you. Presence, on the other hand, is your true ultimate power. It asks for absolutely nothing but your undivided attention. No performance, no fake perfection, just your willingness to show up fully to the reality in front of you. When the morning arrives, do not begin with your stressful to-do list. Begin with a pause. Rest your hand on your chest. Feel your heart beating and speak to yourself with fierce kindness. Today, I choose presence over pressure. Watch what happens. The fake urgency begins to soften. The noise fades. You still take care of business. You still execute at a high level, but you move with grace, not panic. You move with rhythm, not rush. Step out of unconscious busyness and step into conscious elite living. Lesson number 5. I am letting go so life can flow. Every single morning gives you a quiet, definitive choice to hold tight or to release. Without even noticing it, the vast majority of people start the day already clinging. They cling to their rigid plans. They cling to their heavy expectations. They cling to exactly how they think every single hour should unfold. Before the sun has even broken the horizon, their heart feels tangled. Their mind is already attached to an outcome, and their soul is already exhausted. Here is the final truth that will gently but completely set you free. I am letting go so life can flow. Attachment is a quiet, invisible prison. You might not see the iron bars, but you absolutely feel the weight of them. The desperate need to control every variable, the terrifying fear of unexpected change, the obsession with predicting and shaping the day perfectly. This white-knuckle grip creates massive inner tension. Buddhism teaches that suffering begins the exact moment attachment takes root. The second you look at the universe and demand, "This must happen exactly my way," you invite fear. The moment you say, "I cannot let this go," you invite heavy resistance. And resistance, no matter how well you try to hide it, always breaks you down. Life is a river. It was never meant to be forced. It was meant to be followed. Your plans, your massive goals, your ambitions, they absolutely matter. You need a target, but they are not meant to become heavy chains around your neck. When you cling too tightly to specific outcomes, you block the opportunities that are actually trying to reach you. You miss the quiet beauty in things not going your way. Because here is an elite mindset shift. Sometimes, life isn't punishing you when plans fall apart. Sometimes, life is protecting you and guiding you in a much better direction. But to see that clearly, you have to loosen your grip. Letting go does not mean giving up. Letting go means stepping into a flow state. It means trusting a universal wisdom that is far greater than your own limited perspective. Look at the bamboo tree. The bamboo bends in the fiercest typhoon, not because it is weak, but because it knows exactly how to stay standing. It bends, and therefore it survives when the rigid oak tree snaps in half. You must learn to bend, to trust, to let go. In that surrender, you do not lose your strength. You finally discover it. There is infinitely more power in the individual who releases the outcome with grace than in the one who holds on out of pure panic and fear. Speak softly but firmly to your soul as the day begins. I release the absolute need to control. I let go of how I thought things had to be. I allow life to lead me. Let those words be your compass. The more you loosen your grip, the more your life begins to flow like water. You respond instead of resisting. You bend instead of breaking. You welcome what arrives, and you bless what leaves. Let's lock these 5 truths into your mind forever. 1. I am not my thoughts. I am the silence beneath them. Observe the storm. Do not become the storm. 2. Everything I need already exists within me. Stop searching the world for validation. You are already whole. 3. Nothing outside me has the power to disturb my peace. You are a mirror, not a sponge. Protect your inner sanctuary. 4. Today, I choose presence over pressure. Refuse to be rushed by manufactured urgency. Own this exact moment. 5. I am letting go so life can flow. Release the desperate need for control and step into the ultimate power of surrender. There is a quiet, terrifying strength that comes from greeting the morning with stillness instead of stress. The world will try to pull you in 1,000 different directions today. But if you speak these truths to your heart before you step out the door, everything changes. You no longer react to life like a victim. You respond to life like an absolute master. These 5 truths are not just positive quotes. They are inner alignments. When spoken with real presence, they become ironclad anchors in the storm, turning your chaotic mornings into a sacred ritual of pure strength and purpose. The old Zen teaching says it perfectly. When the mind is finally still, the truth gets a chance to speak. Watch how the world around you is forced to reflect your unbreakable inner calm. If this message gave you a moment of pure clarity today, do not keep it to yourself. Hit that like button to signal to the algorithm that you are leveling up. Go down to the comments right now and type the words, "My morning, my power," to lock in your commitment. Subscribe to the channel, turn on notifications, and share this video with someone who needs to hear it today. Your peace might just be the exact message someone else is desperately searching for. Guard your mind, protect your peace, and keep climbing. I'll see you in the next one.